Hi, good afternoon. My name is Matt Graul, and I'm the Chief of Stewardship for the East Bay Regional Park District. Today, I'm going to talk about monitoring and public notification programs for harmful algal blooms in recreational lakes. Before I get started, I wanted to first thank the EPA and the Conservation Technology Information Center for selecting this talk. These EPA workshops and EPA conferences over the last 2 decades have been instrumental for the Park District in establishing our water quality management programs to protect recreational users of our lakes. And we are happy to be here today presenting on some of our work to help inform others about what can be done to protect public health when you have harmful algal blooms. So our harmful algal program is really based on a program of testing, communicating those conditions out, and then determining if there's a response needed to prevent harmful algal blooms or other incidents. And then also this involves monitoring of water quality parameters and public outreach and education. Today I'm going to be talking about toxins and our testing for toxins and how we notify the public about those conditions. Tomorrow, Becky Tuden will be talking about preventative measures and how we treat areas with frequent blooms. And that will be tomorrow afternoon. So Becky Tuden, our Ecological Services Coordinator with the Park District, will be making that presentation. But before I get started into the details, I need to give you an overview of the East Bay Regional Park District and where we're located. The East Bay Regional Park District is located on the east side of San Francisco Bay. We operate in 2 counties, Alameda and Contra Costa County, and we operate 73 regional parks over 125,000 acres. Within our land holdings, we manage 9 recreational lakes. 9 of these lakes allow fishing, and those same 9 lakes also allow dogs on leash or dogs around those lakes. And then 5 of our lakes allow recreational swimming. And that will be the main focus of my talk, are those recreational lakes that allow swimming today. But we have experienced blooms in all of our lakes. These blooms first started in July of 2014. That's toxic blooms. We've been observing harmful algal blooms of cyanobacteria for a number of years. And we've done previous testing, but the first time we did our test detected toxins was in 2014. This really initiated a cascade of blooms throughout our land holdings and throughout our park district. We had a very serious bloom in Lake Chabot in 2014 that resulted in 3 dog tests in late 2014, early 2015. And then we had a numerous series of blooms throughout that year. And then by the end of 2016, we'd observed blooms in all of our recreational lakes, in addition to some ponds and also some brackish water areas along the San Joaquin Delta. Today, I'm going to focus primarily on the recreational swimming lakes and what we do to monitor and test for toxins in those recreational swimming lakes. Our initial step is we've trained all of our park staff who are there on a daily basis to do visual monitoring. Additionally, our water quality staff come out to each of our swim lakes during the swim season between April and October, at least once a week. They also conduct visual assessments during their routine bacteriological monitoring. Once we've identified a trouble spot in areas where we've detected blooms, then we start doing more focused monitoring. This could be related to the bloom formation, but also we may do strategic monitoring related to sources of nutrients that could increase the size of a bloom. After we do our initial visual identification, we use a test kit, Eurofins Abraxas, a field test kit to do our initial evaluation. If that initial test determines a toxin, then we also send it out to a laboratory to do a confirmation of that toxin detection. And after we've done this confirmation of the toxin and also the field test, we notify our staff and our health department to make sure the appropriate controls are put into place in these lakes. And we also do detailed public notification, education, and outreach to our partners. And then once we have a persistent bloom, then we also follow up and do nutrient water quality analysis. So our typical monitoring starts with the visual ID by trying to identify the cyanobacteria present, if they are present, and if they are present, do they have the potential to produce toxins? After we've confirmed the visual ID of the cyanobacteria, then we move on to our testing. And really, you have to do testing to know. Visual identification will not be appropriate enough to determine if the toxins are present. We have an in-house microscope we use. You may see that microscope has a digital camera on the top, so we're able to take photos from our microscope and that's been very helpful in sharing what we're seeing, and also just getting professional assessments and judgments of what we're seeing to confirm some of our observations. We've worked with private labs to do some of that confirmation after we've detected a potentially toxic species. And then, as I mentioned, we also use test kits. So we use the field strip test kits to verify the potential toxins. And then we also have a cyanobacteria automated sampler that allows us to take more detailed measurements and to run series of tests to determine toxins in our in-house lab. We use this basic guidance from the California Cyanobacteria Harmful Algal Bloom Network to determine our opening and closing decisions. I don't have time to go through this, but there'll be resources at the end that can show you more specifics on that document. But our basic triggers on closure are based on the following criteria: 6 micrograms per liter for microcystins, 20 micrograms per liter of antitoxin A, or 4 micrograms per liter of cylindrospermopsin. So anytime we detect toxins above those limits, we would close for swimming and post warnings around the lake for dog owners and fishermen. And then we start to really restrict usage in those areas to make sure people aren't doing any of those activities once we're in a closure situation. And once we've identified those concerns, then we start the real notification process and then identify toxins. So that's where, once we put closures, we often put notices right on our homepage of our website on the closure notices. And once someone clicks on those links, then they'll get details of why the lake was closed and what the specific conditions are. And we also have a cyanobacteria and blue-green algae update page on our website. That's another way we communicate that information. We also have a park and trail closure notices website as part of our page, as part of our website. And so we also post it there. And then we even go to the individual park pages to do additional postings there. We really try to hit every avenue on the web that someone might come into contact with information about our lakes. So we try to hit them at the very beginning, but then if they also want to come and see, or they're coming just straight to our website to get information on a specific lake, they'll also get this information and be linked to more specific technical details on the closure. Here's some of the examples of some of the signs we post. And these signs are posted at the beaches and on our website as soon as we enter into a closure condition. One thing we will point out is that our lakes, we are recommending people don't eat the fish guts, but they rinse the fillets. And that's one thing we've done expanded testing at our lakes to really look at fish tissue analysis. So we look at most of the lakes, most people are fishing, are catching rainbow trout or catfish that are planted in the lake. So they come from a hatchery. But then we also at the same time test resident fish. And we've been doing this annually to see if we are getting any toxins within the tissue of the fish. And so we haven't seen that in our lakes, but we know that can happen in other lakes. So it's very important when you're making these determinations on fishing to make sure you have accurate testing of the fish that are in your lake when you're making recommendations. And I mentioned we also use certified lab confirmation. So anytime we detect a toxin and we're going to make an opening or closure decision based on that, an opening decision, we always confirm with the certified lab that we have met the appropriate criteria. We may often close based on initial toxin and based on our professional judgment based on those field toxin test kits. If we see a condition happening, we will close based on a field test kit, but we don't open until we have a confirmed clean sample and then we've gotten back into the water quality parameters from a confirmed lab. So that's really the end of the talk, trying to keep it tight under the 10 minutes. I really look forward to questions and answers. Here's some other resources that would be helpful, some things we've used in developing our program, and a link to the California Cyanobacteria and Harmful Algal Bloom Network webpage. I look forward to hearing from you and talking to you about your questions. Thank you.